Welcome to Albania, a captivating Balkan nation that has emerged from its long isolated past to reveal a land of breathtaking natural beauty and a people renowned for their vibrant spirit and rich cultural heritage. Venture into the majestic Albanian Alps, where snow-capped peaks and verdant slopes dotted with traditional villages offer endless adventure. But beyond the stunning landscapes, it is the alluring women of Albania who truly captivate the senses. Their timeless elegance, fiery passion, and unwavering resilience weaving an intoxicating tapestry that will leave a lasting impression on all who encounter this enchanting country. Today, we're diving deep into Albania, a nation with a complex history, breathtaking natural scenery, and yes, some incredibly beautiful women. But before we get to all that, let's provide some important context about Albania's past under communist rule and authoritarian isolation. For nearly half a century, from the mid-1940s until the early 1990s, Albania was ruled by a brutal Stalinist dictatorship under Enver Hoxha. The country was completely closed off from the outside world, with draconian restrictions on travel, communication, and basic civil liberties. Hoxha's paranoid regime went so far as to construct over 700,000 concrete bunkers and pillboxes across the small nation, in an insane defensive buildup against perceived foreign threats that never materialized. Many of these ugly Soviet-era relics still dot the gorgeous Albanian landscape to this day, as eerie reminders of a deeply oppressive system. Fortunately, that nightmare ended in 1991, when pro-democracy uprisings across Eastern Europe finally brought down socialist dictatorships like Hoxha's. In the decades since regaining its freedom, Albania has gradually transitioned to a parliamentary democracy and free market economy. Arguably, the country's top scenic attraction is the incredible Lake Ohrid, one of the oldest and most biodiverse lakes on the entire planet. Straddling the border between Albania and North Macedonia, this ancient body of water is over 1 million years old and home to hundreds of unique plant and animal species found nowhere else. The Albanian side features picturesque towns like Pogradec with charming old quarters and excellent seafood restaurants serving up fresh fish from the lake's clear blue waters. You can also take boat tours on Ohrid to fully experience its sublime natural beauty. Another must-see lake in Albania is Lake Koman, an azure reservoir surrounded by the towering Albanian Alps. This stunning man-made lake was created in the 1980s by damming the Drin River to generate hydroelectric power. Although it's not exactly a natural wonder, few places showcase Albania's awe-inspiring mountain scenery better than a ferry trip across the narrow waters of Lake Komen. The verdant slopes rising steeply on both sides simply take your breath away. Of course, no discussion of Albanian lakes would be complete without mentioning the iconic Lake Skadar on the border with Montenegro. Skadar is the largest lake in the Balkans, with wetlands teeming with rare water birds and other wildlife. Taking an eco-tour by boat from charming little waterfront towns is an incredible way to experience this biodiverse freshwater paradise. You'll glide past stunning landscapes of emerald green waters, towering hillsides covered in oak forests, and remote little islands where wild horses and cows graze. Now that we've covered some of Albania's top natural treasures, let's delve into the nation's fascinating history and strategic location in the heart of the Balkans. For over a millennium, beginning in the 7th century, Albania was an integral part of the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire. The country played a pivotal role during the Byzantine-Ottoman Wars for control of southeastern Europe, with major fortresses and towns frequently changing hands. You can still see the lingering architectural and cultural influences of both great empires across Albania today. After Ottoman Turkish forces finally conquered the region in the 15th century, Albania spent the next 500 years under the rule of the Ottoman sultans, based in modern-day Turkey. Despite these long stretches of foreign domination, an ethnic Albanian identity still managed to survive against all odds. This brings us to the demographic makeup of this unique Balkan nation. The population of just under 3 million is overwhelmingly ethnically Albanian, mostly continuing to follow the moderate form of Islam brought by the Ottoman Turks centuries ago. However, There are also Albanian minorities spread across neighboring countries like Greece, North Macedonia, Serbia, and especially Montenegro. Along with these Albanian diaspora communities, other ethnic groups inside Albania itself include Greeks, Aromanians, Macedonians, Montenegrins, and Roma peoples. So as you can see, Albania occupies a crossroads between different cultures, religions, and spheres of influence from east and west. This unique heritage has contributed to the country developing its own distinct identity. And yes, I would be remiss not to touch upon the incredible beauty of Albanian women, which draws admirers from around the world. Albanian ladies are widely renowned for their striking Mediterranean looks, with olive complexions, dark hair, and gorgeous facial features. Their sense of style also tends to be very fashionable and on point. While there are certainly beautiful women in every country, Albania seems to have an especially high concentration of stunners. You'll be turning your head at every corner in cities like the capital of Tirana. Of course, Albania is a fairly conservative society, so we'd caution against being too over-aggressive or disrespectful while admiring the local feminine charms. But it's perfectly understandable why so many visiting men find themselves enamored. This naturally brings us to the topic of nightlife and dating in Albania. Major cities have vibrant bar, club, and cafe scenes where you can meet outgoing Albanian girls looking to party and potentially meet someone special. However, a lot of the interactions you'll observe are simply groups of local guys and ladies out enjoying themselves. More traditional families still very much frown upon premarital intimacy or casual dating as we know it in the West. As a foreigner, your best bet is to try meeting open-minded Albanian women in bigger cities at places that cater to tourists and university crowds. You'll want to move slowly, show respect for local norms, and not come across as just a crass sex tourist. While some gender attitudes are evolving in tandem with Albania's modernization, most women still expect a level of discretion and won't take kindly to being overtly objectified or pressured for romance too quickly. A little cultural sensitivity about courtship customs here will go a long way. Now, another area of concern for some travel vloggers is the lingering issue of human trafficking and forced prostitution in parts of Albania. This remains a serious problem, though Albanian authorities have been cracking down hard on criminal enterprises exploiting vulnerable women and minors. For the sake of protecting victims, we won't be promoting or glorifying any red light districts or seedy establishments that cater to the sex trade. Our aim is solely to showcase the many positive aspects of this nation in a fun, ethical, and family-friendly way. We'd be doing a huge disservice to both Albania's natural beauty and amazing women by focusing excessive attention on those sordid activities. Our goal is to celebrate what's wonderful and unique about this country from the right perspective. With that important note out of the way, let's cover some basic cost of living details that savvy travelers will want to know. For most visitors, Albania is a solid bargain compared to many other European countries. For example, you can find cozy furnished one-bedroom apartments for rent in Tirana and other major cities for anywhere from $250 to $500 per month. Of course, ultra-modern luxury flats or houses of that size could cost double those amounts if you prefer nicer accommodations. On the very low end, expect to pay $150 or less for more basic rooms or studio apartments. Daily living expenses like groceries, restaurants, and transportation also tend to be quite reasonable in Albania, especially compared to nearby Western European nations. A couple could easily get by on $1,500 to $2,500 per month, depending on your lifestyle and splurging habits. Taxis are fairly affordable too, usually starting around $2 to $3 for any ride before charges increase based on mileage and time. You can also use Uber if available or utilize local buses and minivans that cost pennies but can get very crowded. Albania has numerous internet service providers to choose from, with basic broadband packages starting around $12 to $20 per month for decent home connection speeds. Phone and data plans for cell service are also quite cheap by most standards. typically $10 or less for a bare-bones plan with 4G data included. As for long-term stays and taxes, Albania has actually implemented some very attractive policies to lure expats and remote workers in recent years. The country boasts extremely low income and corporate tax rates of just 9%, while also allowing foreigners to obtain temporary residence permits for as little as around $40. All told, it's pretty easy to understand why Albania is quickly becoming such a popular destination, not just for tourists, but digital nomads, retirees, and expats taking advantage of the country's low cost of living and beautiful surroundings. For American citizens, the visa process for visiting Albania is extremely straightforward. U.S. passport holders can enter Albania for up to 1 year without needing to obtain a visa in advance. Upon arrival, immigration officials will issue a 1-year multi-entry stamp visa free of charge, as long as your U.S. passport has at least 3 months remaining validity. This visa-free entry for Americans makes Albania an incredibly accessible destination, with no advance visa required for stays under 1 year for tourism, business, or even temporary work or study. That's all we have for you today on this in-depth look at life in captivating Albania. We've covered the stunning natural landscapes, the incredible beauty of the women, the cost of living, nightlife, getting visas, and so much more. But I know we've barely even scratched the surface on everything this unique Balkan nation has to offer. If you have any other burning questions or your own experiences to share about Albania, drop them in the comments below. While you're at it, make sure to crush that like button and share this video with any friends who might be interested in visiting. Your engagement helps the channel massively. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.